Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and kick this meeting off, guys. So the purpose of this meeting really is for if you're talking directly to sellers or agents and you're negotiating any type of offer, really this is going to be the time. I'm going to start doing it maybe just once a week on Wednesdays. If we need to do a daily cadence, that's fine. But Kenneth and Lisa, y'all are asking a ton of questions, which we want to be able to provide the best quality answer. We're not trying to ignore you, Lisa, and have you in a bubble by yourself. Like, we want to be able to give you feedback and help you through your issues. And so that's specifically what this time is going to be for. Lewis is on this call as well because he understands a lot of the market, like the local market. He's been in the market longer than I have. And so he understands this market a lot better, Louisiana, Shreveport, Bossier specifically. So if I'm not able to answer something, or maybe we can provide two different insights on it, one from a different lens and another from a different lens. We've also been working on a master offer generator. That way you need to only put in a very key kind of like maybe like 6 or 7 numbers, and then our master offer generator automatically generates you an offer. You don't have to come to us. You don't have to come to Kenneth or anyone else. You put it in and it spits out what offers we can give them, whether that's a cash offer, owner finance, a sub 2. If we want to list it, if we want to novate it, we're still building it out, but the cash offer one works right now. So if we wanted to make cash offers, we 100% can use a spreadsheet to do that. So I first wanted to start this meeting off by, I don't want to dive deep into these questions, but I just want to kind of hear, Lisa, kind of a general summary of kind of what your questions are and how you can get the most out of this meeting. So I want to give the mic to you and let you talk for a little bit and just kind of understand kind of your confusion and pain points.
Well, let's see. So I guess going by property specifically, or because I know the last we're kind of working on is the 6016 Fox Ridge, and I think if I remember, I'm looking at the last message with Kenneth was that he's looking into the legalities of it this coming week.
Let's try to keep it high level, and then because I want to get a summary from you and I want to get a summary from Kenneth, and then if there's some overlap there, I'll know kind of what's important, and then I do want to go deep, but I want to start with a summary first. So you don't have to name addresses, you don't have to name people, just like a summary of problems that you're encountering that you're having like kind of like a hurdle around.
I guess basically once I get agents confirming with me on whether they're open to the type of offers that I'm suggesting to them, what the next steps are. Obviously is to make an offer. So, and I know you wanted to work with me on being able to do that on my end, but I don't have the tools on my plate.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is you're calling these agents and they're saying, yeah, we might be open, to an offer. You're confused on like, what's the official next steps? Like, what do we send? Like, as far as when you say next steps, you mean like, what is the offer on the house? Is that what you mean by next steps?
The offer for the seller, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because obviously it's a form, or I mean, here in California, there's a lot of different, there's like a process that we do to make it look professional. And so I don't know what is needed on your guys' end.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay. What else? Let's say, so I know that is one thing. And what else? What else are you having an issue with?
And then, obviously, once I build the relationships with these agents, like one agent I spoke to, really awesome conversation, really neat lady, and she actually sent me another property, and that one was a cash offer situation. I think it's listed for $18K. It's obviously a flip. It needs to be completely renovated, and it would be a rental unit, be a great rental unit. So just learning about that market and how it could be beneficial for us in the long run.
Okay, so what I heard you say was once the relationship is built with the agent, they're sending you other offers. And so that kind of goes back to the first one. You need to figure out how to make an offer to the seller. But there was a spinoff from that of also kind of getting more familiar with the market and saying, hey, this is something we would actually do.
Yeah.
Is that what you were basically saying? Okay. So kind of twofold. So offer to the seller is the first kind of big hurdle. And the second one is kind of market familiarity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can run CMAs through it's an NAR program that I have access to as a realtor.
Is it RPR?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So is that an issue? Is that something that's kind of not confusing, but is that something that's like a hurdle for you, is actually running the comps?
No, I can run comps. I mean, okay. A lot of the actually a lot of the properties on the RPR are not updated. I guess obviously agents aren't they're not members of NAR.
Especially after last week.
But it's automatically part of our MLS here in California. We pay the membership through our local MLS, and then it's added to it. So but yeah. Most realtors aren't part of it for obvious reasons. So yeah.
Okay.
So as far as it being completely updated in the RPR, the properties are not listed on the RPR. So being as accurate as it could be, I think that might be missing information.
Okay.
But I still use it, and I don't know, kind of work.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I approach it too. I mean, we can only make a decision based on the data we have, right? We can't make numbers up because that, at the end of the day, we have to help someone else make money on this. And how do people make money on this? They look at the data, they see what's the history of sold comps, and that's how they're going to base their in number, the ARV, and all the rest of the numbers will be skewed after that if that number isn't right. So if we see a property is worth 200K, but they're seeing the data at 150, there's a 50K discrepancy there, and that's going to cause a big issue on our offer price and what they would buy for. And so, no, it's very crucial that we get that down. We get a comps, we get some type of process in place to where rule number one, the good rule of thumb is if there aren't 3 supporting hard, fast comps, like do not pass go. Do not say, hey, this is outside of our area. We can list this for you. Well, you can't say that because you're talking with agents, but that's something that we want to incorporate. We need solid data to make solid offers. Like that is a ground principle that we need to all inherently have drilled in our brain.
Yeah.
And so yeah, offers, market familiarity, and then running comps. That's not like an issue, but it's something that we need to kind of get more clarity around, I guess you would say. Is there anything else?
Nothing at the top of my head right now.
Okay. All right. Kenneth, how about you, man? Passing the mic to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same. Just not the process of running comps, but finding them with some of these areas. It's just, if your ear's not to the ground and you're not Lou, it's kind of hard to know James is the guy who's going to be interested in this area. So anything we find on this street, we're just going to call James instead of trying to run the comps and, see what the market has to say. Because some of the houses are 900 square foot, some are 1,500, some are built in 1920, some are built in 1940, 50, 60, and they're all within, that 0.5 mile radius. So I would not envy any kind of mortgage underwriters for that area. Unless they have their own unique software, just pulling public data. But Lou did mention, what is the RPR that Shreveport has. Does California have public data all the way out in Louisiana, or do you have to have the specific Louisiana to be able to get that information?
Lou, do you know? I'm not too familiar with RPR.
No, I think it's more to Lisa.
Oh.
What? I'm sorry, say that again.
Are you able to use RPR for local addresses.
Oh yeah, it's national.
Yeah,
It's national.
it's
Okay.
built in into the Louisiana as far as the MLS system. RPR is a feature of several. You know, once you're inside the MLS, you know, you have if you're paying, you know, RPR is a feature. A lot of agents don't know how to use it. I've had agents ask me to show them how to use their access, but it's a good tool.
Yeah,
Great.
but
Well,
I think don't agents need to pay a membership separately? It's a separate membership. I mean, I don't know if it's automatically on the Louisiana side, if their MLS is automatically connected or if it's a separate membership. With California, it's automatic kind of thing because it's just part of our MLS, but I don't know if that's the same.
I'm not an agent, but I used to build the back end and the raw data pre-MLS, you know, standardizing. So that's how long I've been in the space. But of the agents that I've seen, they have it, so they may be paying for it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them don't even know that it exists and it's there and don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
I like that humble brag there. I just know the area because I've been a boss in it for so long, and people know me and I know them, and you know, I just have to standardize it that way. I don't really go on Google very much because I just know my stuff. That was awesome. That put a smile on my face.
No, I'm learning new things every day.
But yeah, because if you need access to the MLS, you can have my login credentials. I don't know if it would be any different than Cali for the MLS itself, or if you're just going to use the RPR, if it doesn't matter. But I learned that as a realtor's assistant, you can gain access to the MLS. Different MLSs work differently, and I'm still learning this one. So if you wanted to hop on a meeting after this, and maybe we can run through it, we can see if there's any resources out there.
Okay. And also, I guess for me, when I'm on these calls, what I could do is just double confirm with the agent too on what comps they're getting for that area and compare the two, which I've
I was
done.
going to suggest that for sure. Because I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I've done, but sometimes I miss that in my calls.
No, yeah, I would definitely, and we're going to build out some processes for you specifically to have it kind of mapped out of like exactly checkpoints to hit along the way. But that is going to be one of them. Is like, hey, you know, we're going to make it standard on every call. Like, why double the work for yourself? Like the agent has already done the CMA, they've done the homework. Like, as a good agent, they should be able to provide you the data to support why it's listed at this price. Like that's like,
Yeah.
like a lot of people go, you know, don't think about that. So yeah, I would say that thinking is definitely, that's what we want to do every call. We want to say, and maybe make it in the pricing, you know, structure, say, hey, like I'm trying to pull some comps. Have you pulled any already that you could just send me, you know, save me some time, kind of help me out a little bit. And if they don't want to help you out, like we don't work with assholes. So just get off the call with them. So, so yeah, so that's the one way to solve it. And then also I know Kenneth is direct to seller. And so he does need MLS access, prop stream access, like RPR access. He does need all that because he's helping the seller like one-on-one directly.
Yeah.
So
And I have prop stream access, so I've
Okay.
definitely looked at that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so before I go too deep into one of those, is there anything else that you guys can think of as far as acquisitions that are kind of hairy situations that are kind of blanks in your brain about what to do?
Yeah, well, the only thing is like our filter for the properties, and if they're under 900 square foot, how do we handle those? Because those are going to be the, you know, 60,000, 50,000 ARV, where we're going to have to practically have the homeowner pay us 5,000 to take it if anyone's going to make a profit.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's funny you say that. Yeah, I'll definitely cover that too. Anything else? Any high level things?
Um,
I know
just
there's got to be
on the
more, Kenneth.
Yeah, I'm trying to think on a higher level and on a strategic level, but as it relates to being transparent. So if Mo wanted to look at the acquisitions, how could I be forethoughtful and formulating it? So on yeah, outside of the smaller ones, just on the different scenarios, what kind of process do we want to implement for if it hits this marker on the ARV, this is where we go, or on that calculator, I guess what is the user experience when we get that?
Yeah, no, good question. Good question. And I'm asking all these questions on the front end. That way I know, like I'm writing them down. That way I know how to answer them. And because I have something that's going to solve that. I have something that's going to solve a lot of these things. And so I'm trying to get anything else. That way it's all on the table and it's all, we're all naked together. We all see the problem and we can all attack it.
And then just getting better at using RPR and MLS along with Zillow and PropStream and Google so
Okay.
that I have a better due diligence process before reaching out to the homeowner.
Right. Okay.
And then not just having a process, but how maybe we can document that process for the next person so that
Well,
we
say
can
that
have it
again.
as
Say what you mean again.
so the due diligence that goes into reviewing the avatar for our solution and understanding my thought process behind the difference in a $50,000 house or a $500,000 house and where the lead came into, where the mortgage is, what the equity is, and then having that to formulate a solution versus we get a lien list and the house is worth 100, it's showing a $20,000 lien on it, but then we get in there and do the work and now it's a $60,000 lien. What then? And
Okay.
I'm thinking as someone stepping into my role that maybe they don't have the experience of, okay, well now it's not going to be a cash sale, it's going to be probably a novation.
Okay. So what I heard you say was basically the due diligence for kind of understanding and reviewing the avatar of how how the lead came in, and then kind of layer deeper than that would be once we've already made the offer and newfound information comes up, how do we deal with that problem? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. So that would be that is kind of outside of acquisitions. That would be a dispo problem. Because if they told us that they had a $150,000 mortgage and then we discover a $15,000 lead or $15,000 lien, that would be during the title process. And so that is a dispo specific problem that it would get kicked back to acquisitions, but dispo would basically communicate with acquisitions, say, hey, ran into a hair. We're gonna have to talk with the seller on this. There's $15,000 mortgage extra. I mean, it literally happened on the deal that closed Monday. Like literally happened. Like there was a $17,000 lien that the seller just freaking forgot to tell us about, that he didn't think existed, and he was gonna walk away with 17 grand, but now he had to bring like $3,000 to closing. And so it just happens, it's just one of those things that we'll work through, but we have a solution for that. Me and Shaw have dealt with that. So a lot of the things you're asking, it can really be solved on the front end. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to mitigate the back end. We're trying to mitigate the amount of deals, the fall through rate, the fall through percentage. Like that's really what we're trying to mitigate. So if we can equip you, Lisa, and you, Kenneth, and any other acquisitions rep that comes on, with the company, with the tools and the resources and the swords and the shields to go out there to battle when they're talking with the seller, it's only going to be that much better. It's going to make the back end so much easier, because dispo really, it's not that hard if you have, build relationships over the past 10, 20 years with buyers that want to buy properties. Like, it's not that hard, but what's really hard is making sure the deal is a deal on the front end. And that's kind of where the issue that we've come up with on dispo. And so that's why we're kind of reverting backtracking into acquisitions, figuring out that process. So, Lewis and I have kind of worked in building out something. Can I share it with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Share. Well, maybe I shouldn't share it like this. Let me just share the actual tab. Let's see. Okay. Just let me know when y'all can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, awesome. So this is something me and Lewis have built out through all the hundreds and thousands and millions of spreadsheets that we have analyzed and gone through. This is the most simple and complex one that we can come up with, because we want to make your job super easy. We want you to worry about a couple key numbers that are important that you can have with the seller on the first kind of like clarity call. And then on the solutions call, whenever you're actually saying, hey, here's the solutions of what we can offer, it's going to spit something out on the back end that says, hey, here is our actual solutions. And so I'm going to run through this with you real quick, and I'll probably need to make a separate video just for this, but it's still being built out. That's why I haven't made a video yet, but the cash offer one works. So basically how it works is, and I like it big, Lewis likes it small, but I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see it because it's tiny right now, I'm sure on y'all's screen. So couple things we need. Everything in green, we need you to touch. That is a green. We need that information. We 100% we need it. The yellow, it's kind of like a variable. Like, we really don't need it. If you can get it, great, but we don't really need it. And then, so I'm just gonna go line by line. There's a few rule of thumbs I want to cover first before you even get to this part. So rule number one is if there are not 3 supporting comps minimum, do not pass go. Do not fill this information out, because we do not have the most important part, which is the ARV. We don't know the ARV, that messes up the entire spreadsheet. Gives us false information, false data. So if there's not 3 comps, do not pass go. For running comps, I just put this in there. It can be changed whatever order we want. And maybe for you, Lisa, you 4 would get comps from agent. Like, one of these 4 things is a solution to this and to get this number. So Kenneth, if you're on a call with someone, you need to have prop stream, you need to have freaking MLS, you need to have RPR, whatever you need to have pulled up needs to get pulled up. And you can even ask the seller, like, hey, what have you seen the property selling for around the area? And just kind of, it's kind of awkward. You don't want to say, hey, hold on, give me 10 minutes while I run some comps. You want to kind of make it a conversation and say, hey, I'm looking up some comps right now, but can you help me out? Like, have you seen anything sell recently? While let them talk, let them talk whatever they want to say. And then while you're plugging the numbers and doing your thing, that's kind of what we're going to do. And if you want to make it 2 separate calls to where you say, hey, this call is about clarity for me to understand your situation, your timeline, your motivation, see if we can actually help you. And then the solutions call is post having all this information, you're going to go over all the solutions with you. So I know we're virtual right now, but if you think about it like a 2-step process, that's exactly how our process works. And so we have an understand call, which that's kind of like the lead managers. We understand their situation. The clarity call is acquisitions, kind of doing a layer deeper than that, understanding if we can really help them. And then solutions call is when we say, hey, based on what you told us, we understand your situation. We have clarity around it. And now we can diagnose your problem. Here's the solutions to your problem. And so that's kind of like the framework of the calls. So going into this line by line, obviously this is the ARV. It's after repair value. We all know kind of what that means. We all know it's I'm actually not going to assume, because anyone else new may not know that. But this is the repair value, obviously after the home is fixed up. We need the square footage of the house. So we added this in here, and there's some notes right here for you if you need to understand. So we're going to do it on a grading system. And sorry, can you see that, Lisa? You look like you're zoomed in IRL.
It's a little small, but that's okay. That's why I'm
Okay.
like, what?
What I'm going to do, I'm gonna just share this with you guys. That way y'all have it, and y'all could just look at your own kind of pace, and we can go from there. So I just shared that both with y'all's Go Blue account. I'm gonna read it out loud too. So we're gonna use a grading system to make running repairs super easy. We don't want Lisa and Kenneth to be contractors. That's not the goal of what we're trying to have happen. We're trying to get you to have conversations with sellers and make offers. And repairs is one of those kind of hairy items where a lot of people don't know what to do. Like they're like, oh, it needs this repairs. And so we kind of made a grading system that is probably one of the most easiest, simple ones for it. So it's just like freaking high school or middle school. It's A through F. A is really good, meaning there's no repairs. As it goes down, it goes down in increments of 5. So B is just kind of cosmetic like repairs. That's $10 a square foot at B grade. C is cosmetic repairs. It's a little bit higher. So this might be confusing. So let me do this. When I say B grade, A grade, what I mean is some properties in Shreveport Boulder, like let's say for a rental, for example, a B grade property rental, you wouldn't spend the same amount of money on that as you would an A grade property rental or like an A grade flip. And so that's why there's 2 different numbers. So if it's like a Kenneth, like you mentioned, those $60,000 properties, those would be B grade rentals. Like no investor is going to put A grade like materials into a B grade house. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So that's the differentiator there. And so D would be a full gut rehab. That's 20 a square foot for a B grade. So like a lower end kind of flip, maybe lower end remodel. And then an F would be friggin' all out balls to the walls, like 25 a square foot, A grade, like high quality rental. And so we need to have a conversation around sort of like get an idea of, and this kind of ties into what you were saying earlier, Lisa, like the market understanding. So you need to understand what pockets are A grade and B grade. And maybe we can have like a map or something like that. That way, if you're talking with a seller and it's a rental property, you can say, okay, like it needs some cosmetic repairs. So that would kind of be a 10 because it is a cosmetic repair for a B grade rental. Like that's what you would put. If it was a B grade flip, you would look at your little checklist and say, okay, it needs a full gut rehab. It's not an A area. It's kind of like a B area. I'm going to go with 20. And that's what I would do there. And so it's just a button you click. Don't type in here. It's like a little button. You just click right there on the little drop down and you just boom, like just click it. Custom repairs. This is something that it still needs to be built out. This is for the ones that kind of need like crazy rehab dollars. So I would say don't touch this one for now because it's not built on the back end, but eventually it will be. But you would basically click custom and then you would put in here like 50 grade or whatever you wanted to put in here. But just don't touch it for now. Like we're still, like I said, we're still building it out. So for right now, just select 5 through 25. So we're gonna go with 15. Is there a current mortgage on the property? If so, we need to know that amount because we need to know if it's going to be an owner finance, if it's going to be a sub 2, if it's going to be a sub tail, if it's going to be freaking whatever it's going to be. Like we need to know that. Some agents are weird about like giving that information out. Just say, hey, like, if they don't know it, or it doesn't have to be exact. We can get that information once we're under contract. But I would just get a rough. If the seller's being weird about it, just say, hey, like. We're not just a one-trick pony. We're not going to come in here and make just a cash offer. Like that's not why I'm asking. Why I'm asking for it is because some of our solutions may involve us taking over the mortgage. It may involve giving your seller cash and us taking over the mortgage. So that's why we need it. Again, we don't work with assholes. If they don't want to give us that information, smile and say have a great day. Like no, that's not a problem at all. Like there's so many people that need to sell properties. That's not even funny. It's not even worth the time dealing with assholes. So it doesn't have to be exactly. If they said, oh, it's roughly 150, perfect. Put freaking 150 in there. Like that is perfect. Same thing with the monthly payment. Doesn't need to be exact. Just give a rough estimate. If it's 543.96, like put 550. If you have the exact amount, put the exact amount. But if you don't have it or you can't find that information, just put whatever the rough amount is. And if you can't get that information on the first call, maybe that's a follow-up call, or maybe that's like a text, like, hey, text me whenever you get it, and I'll be able to make you an offer. But we need this information before we can even make a cash offer, because we're not in the business of just making cash offers. We're in the business of helping homeowners actually get a solution to their problem. And a cash offer is a one-trick pony. Listing a property is a one-trick pony. There are so many different options other than listing and a cash offer. So we need this information if we can truly diagnose. Like think about if you went to the doctor and your freaking like leg is hurting you and you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, okay, I need to see your leg, pull up your leg. And they're like, no, I'm not going to pull up my leg. Like, just tell me what I need. It's like, no, that's stupid, you know? So like, we need to have the information to diagnose properly. The rate, I may just take this out because we really don't need this. It's really, and when I say rate, I really mean rate of current mortgage. That's what I mean there. It kind of is like it's kind of one of those things, like it is what it is. Like we can't change it. And so it's like, I may take it out just to simplify this process a little bit more. But for right now, if you can get it, perfect. If not, like, don't worry about it. It's just a yellow item. Don't worry about it. And then market rent. So there are a couple different websites that we need to, I think I pay for a Rentometer subscription. I need to give y'all access to that. And I don't know how many people can be logged into it and stuff like that, but you would basically, I'll have a process for how to get market rent. And sometimes you can just go on Zillow and you can plug it in. If you're dealing with an agent, you can ask the agent what the market rent is. But we do need a process on the back end. And again, this number, all these numbers are kind of like just to get the ball rolling. Like if you don't know the exact market rent, that's okay. But for now, we're just going to put like, just say I go to rentometer.com and it tells me 1,600. Okay, cool. I'm going to put in 1,600 and boom. So what happens from there is all of these spreadsheets right here, all 4 of these spreadsheets, they're going to fire on the back end. You don't have to look at them if you're not analytical. We're trying to make this process super simple for anyone that comes on the team. We've already done the hard work. We've already built it out to where it auto-populates how much the square footage, what the discount is, what the repairs are, what the gross mint is, what our wholesale fee is, and what the purchase price is. So $70,300 would be the max purchase price on this property. And that's if we were going to make a $20,000 wholesale fee. Like I said, you don't need to know all these numbers. You don't need to know the holding cost and the closing cost you don't need to know all this stuff. If you want to know it, it's there. And if the seller asks how we came up with it, it's there. But all that you're going to do is you're going to click on this tab right here. And I may move this over to this, like maybe move it like over here just to make it make more sense. But you're really just going to work from this letter of intent page. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to start, instead of making so Kenneth, are you there, Kenneth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So our process right now is Kenneth makes a verbal offer, someone makes a verbal offer, and then the next step is it goes from verbal offer to contract right away. And that is like going from, hey, I think you're cute to, hey, I want to marry you. Like that's a big commitment. And so we want to kind of say, hey, no, like let's go on a date first. Like you tell me if you like me first before I ask you for your hand in marriage. And so this letter of intent process is that kind of dating process of like, hey, do you like me or not before we freaking ask your hand in marriage? And so what this is going to do is it's going to be an official document that we're going to send to the seller. It's going to have the date, seller address, property address. Thank you for the opportunity to review and consider your property based on the information we were able to gather on the local market conditions. We are prepared to purchase your property in one of the following ways. Option 1 is going to be cash. It's going to be whatever the number that was generated over here. It's going to pre-populate there. It's already going to be done for you. You don't have to freaking guess at it. Terms are going to be all cash. We can close this. Oops. And we're going to make this pretty, but it's kind of wonky right now. But like I said, we're still building out. But the terms are basically going to be this. All cash. We can close in 7 to 13 days. All closing costs paid by us. So that's going to be the terms. And I'm super OCD, so I'm going to fix this real quick. But yeah, eventually, whenever we get to you, like once we say it's ready to go, all this will be like done basically. So that's that. And so the only one we've got built out right now is the cash option. Like that's the only one we've got built out right now. Me and Lewis are still working today on building out the creative option. We're going to build out the listing option. I know, Lisa, the listing doesn't apply to you, but you can just ignore that option. And we may have it in there to where, I know, Kenneth, you have the other options of like installments and novations, and that is something that we need to do, like straight up. We need to have those in there as well. And so I'm going to add this in there. Like we need to build a spreadsheet out for the novation option or
So I have a question on making official offers with the letter intent. There's no Louisiana state form that needs to be sent. It's you can send an offer just like this.
Yeah. So with really, so again, this is just a letter of intent. This has the seller's acceptance and the buyer's doesn't need to be changed to buyer, but it's going to have, we're going to sign off on this first. Like we will have probably a pre-populated signature in there that says, hey, Blue Home Solutions approves this offer. If you've put it through this stress test, we will approve any offer you put out, because any one of these solutions we know how to make money on. Like as long as the offer's getting out there, we can make money on it. As long as the ARV is right, as long as the repairs are right, as long as all the numbers are there. What you're saying is, does it need to be a Louisiana contract? For a letter of intent, I don't think so. I see Lewis has a question, but basically how it would work is this is the do you like us question.
Yeah.
So if they say, and Lewis, I'm gonna answer you, but I want to share this one thing real quick. Let's say they don't like the cash offer. Let's say they say, I don't like the cash, that's way too low, but this creative option works. Like, what does that look like? You purchase my property for X dollars, you give me a down payment of this, and then you pay me for this amount. Heck yeah, like I'll sign up for that. Awesome. Now that's where we get to the official point of like, will you marry me? Like we're gonna send you over an official Louisiana contract that spells out exactly what this says. But this is basically, it's not a surprise when they see it. It's like, oh snap, this is exactly what I said. It lays out the exact terms of what was communicated to me, what was on the letter of intent, and now it's on a paper form to where this process, we send a title right away and we open escrow right away because we know we can close on that. So that's where the official document would come in. And Lewis, you have a question.
Yeah, I think you answered it. I think to Lisa's question, this isn't binding. This
Yes.
is just like a memo. Hey, this
Yeah.
is what we talk about. It's a summary. And so, yeah, and Louisiana's pretty lax, but this isn't a contract.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just saying, hey,
I guess, I mean, California is pretty strict. We actually have to send a California legal document. It's basically a residential purchase agreement to the selling agent, and also do a letter. I mean, it's pretty formal. There's a lot of steps, but so just knowing that Louisiana is a little bit more.
it's a little wild west over here.
Yeah,
know,
and be
right?
mindful, we're talking
That's-
two separate dynamics. One dynamic is business to business, essentially, and one's business to customer. So the letter of intent to purchase is going to unsophisticated, homeowner.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Well, I mean, and not even that. I mean, I know in the multifamily world, they operate only on letter of intent. And then until they get there, so letter of intent it's not a down step. High level multifamily people, that's all they use. That's their main KPI they track is like, hey, did we get LOIs sent out today? Like that is their metric. And so LOIs are super high level, but it's not a commitment. It's just I like you enough to freaking, reach my hand out and give you a hand. Can you reach your hand out and meet my hand? And can we agree on something? And after that, then we'll freaking go to Vegas and get married and do the whatever. Yeah. So is all this making sense? Do you guys have any questions? Are you guys comfortable?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as long as it's got our name on it with a logo, that'll be another way to brand ourselves with
Yeah.
something in writing and showing that we're a legitimate corporation and not
That's
just
true. Yeah.
and then
I love that. Thank you so much for that idea.
Yeah.
yes.
Great idea.
Especially
love
with
that.
agents too, they would like to see that. But I mean, like the last agent I spoke to, she was an investor herself, so she totally understands the whole process, which was great.
Right. Yeah, I'll throw it in here, and if y'all hate it, we can change it. I know we have a lot of feedback on we're trying to figure out what our freaking logo is, but we do have one for the Home Solutions company. If we want to change it in the future, we can. It's not an issue, but I mean, this looks nice right now. We can also, it kind of gave us another idea of maybe doing like the website, because I know that can help with credibility. Maybe give that like a hyperlink to it to where they can just go to that and have that there.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work too.
And then we can do like a kind of like maybe some contact info over here, like of
Business contact info.
yeah. And maybe it can be like our, main office, main email, or maybe like office manager. I don't know. I mean, just we can put whatever we want. I don't care. But just make it look nice. I mean,
I
put
can
manual
have
in there.
I can have manual or my information. That way they have it in writing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could be whatever. I don't care. I'm just throwing it in there just to throw it in there right now, but it can literally be
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, this just know that this exists, and this is definitely getting like built out. Because I think this right here will solve a lot of what you guys were saying, as far as like the questions and concerns y'all had. So Lisa, your main thing was offer for the seller.
Yeah.
The second one was when agents send you other offers. I think this would this solve both of those for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this helps a lot, definitely, actually.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So for cash price, I mean, I know that we want to have creative, listing, novation. Why did I put novations twice? I meant to put installment, my bad. Yeah, we can have multiple options on this thing. I mean, we want to ideally keep it to 3. But if we need to do more, like I'm okay with that, because like we're not just a one-trick pony. And again, it's not, we're never, what this does is this doesn't create a bias of towards us. Like we say, we can make money on all 5 of these options. It doesn't matter to us, but for the homeowner, what matters most to you? Is it money? Is it time? Is it speed? Is it freaking like transparency? Like we're being so transparent on this, and like we want to send this to them. Like we want to literally send this email to them. That way, if they wanted to click on the website, oh snap, that doesn't even work because it's a freaking boot home buyer. So like little things like that we would need to like, fix. We do have a website. So like little things like this, like to where we want to have like all of our case studies on this website. That way, it's kind of like we want to be able to give them the cookies to where if they try to Google it and stuff like that, it's like we've already handled a lot of those objections in their brain to where they don't feel like they need to. So I mean, we can have, like we did a case study, we had a closing on Monday, that a case study, like we can put that video on here, and all the future case studies can be on this website. We can have like, an about us page where we have all of our pictures and maybe videos about us. Like it can be a huge credibility source that we need to jam pack. Are you kidding me? Like that would set us apart from kind of all the competition if we had that. So yeah, something we're still building out. Like the website exists, but we still need to build it out more just for a credibility perspective. Yeah, this is just beta like mode. This isn't the official, like it is the official one, but it's still beta mode. Like we're still working on building it all out. So, and then your last question, Lisa, was the market familiarity.
Which I think I can work that out.
Okay.
Especially since I have pretty decent tools, but I can just verify with the agent.
Yeah, the thing I liked about RPR too, it gives you got temperature trends, and so that might help with looking at an address for the market, like what's moving, is it hot, is it cold? I mean, I think that temperature gauge over the map is actually awesome.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, RPR is actually a really good tool. I like it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. So with the current property that I kind of have a pending offer with, I know Kenneth was the last message, right? Should I just wait until this form is completed and then just take it from there?
Was it what was it? Creative offer?
Yeah.
Or what was it? What's creative? Okay. Yeah, I'm actually waiting on a couple a buddy to send me over his like sub 2. Would it be sub 2 or owner finance?
Yeah, with seller financing.
And the difference is sub 2 is they have a mortgage, owner finance they have no mortgage. So they don't have a mortgage?
She wasn't sure. So I can verify with her.
Okay. And then maybe there's a hybrid of both. Like maybe, if he has a mortgage of 40K and then we're property's worth 150, we could do a hybrid of sub 2 for the 40K and then owner finance. It could be a hybrid, but we just need to know that information. That way we can make the offers.
Okay. I'll follow up with her.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've got another call in about 10 minutes. we can spend time for the next 10 minutes going over that specific project. If you don't have any questions about this or anything else, I mean, I'm happy to dive deep into it for the next 10 or so minutes.
Well, I mean, let me confirm with the agent, and then once I confirm, I'll let you know. And then as far as depending on what either or.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, sounds good.
There. I don't know. Yeah. Does that sound good?
Yeah. However you want to do it, I'm cool. That's cool with that.
I mean, I just want to be able to send her an official offer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Kenneth, you have any questions? Does this help you at all?
Yeah, it does. I think if I can get some loo time on the MLS, RPR, just getting a pulse on that and working on it, because the sooner I have that in my tool belt, the sooner I'll be more efficient.
Right. You said some loo time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I was making sure I heard you right.
Lisa may know more about RPR than I do. I think RPR is really, I mean, it's so useful.
It's very user friendly too. It's you just plug in the information and it kind of just populates for you.
Okay.
But either or, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, however you want. Maybe do both.
Right? Yeah, do both. Yeah. Cool. Well, if that's all, guys, you guys are both shared on this. I would say make a copy of it for yourself, because obviously if we're all freaking throwing our properties in here, it's not going to be good. What I would do if I were you is, let me share my screen real quick. That way, that's not my share screen. So like obviously, you know, one of our key metrics is gonna become LOIs submitted per day instead of offers submitted per day. And so like if let's say this one populated, like I would make a copy of this one. So like you just basically, you know, say like, okay, let's say this was for 123 Main Street. So you would say, okay, let me make a copy to the existing spreadsheet, or we can have a different spreadsheet. Let's see. I would basically just say, hey, let me make a copy. And maybe we have a different, I like that idea better, having a different spreadsheet of actually submitted LOIs. Like I like that way better. So let me put this. So you basically do that and then rename this to 123 Main Street LOI. And that way you still have your original one. And if you come back over here and tweak, you know, this one, and let's say, you know, it's, you know, whatever, 2 million and the freaking repairs or whatever, 25. Now, if you come over here, the LOI is going to be completely different for that. Like the cash offer will be 1.33. And so now you can make a copy of that one and save that for 125 Main Street. So you just have multiple different of them without this. Oh, that did change. Yeah, we need to fix that. I need to unlink it somehow. Maybe it's by linking it to a different spreadsheet. Or maybe it's I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that's kind of the point. Like we want to have copies of it, and that way, whenever we're looking at the LOIs for submitted, we can always say, okay, yeah, this is what we submitted to Bob Smith at 123 Main Street. This was, you know, and maybe we put your number, like LOI submitted by here. Like we can have. I don't know why this is. Bro, there's all these things are weird, Lou. We need to have somewhere in here where it's like LOI submitted by.
The thing about the LOI, when you start adding all of these elements, there's a disconnect with the customer, right? Like the warmth is gone. It's supposed to be like a letter. It's official, but once you start adding all these boxes and all this detail, it's not about them anymore. It's about us. And so we might want to consider putting some of this at the bottom, or just keep it like it's a letter. Like, hey, you know, you spoke with Lisa. This is kind of where we landed with what we've got for you. But once you start making it like it's cookie cutter, it's like, oh man, this is all they do. They just pump these out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. And we can. I'm sure there's ways to automate that as far as like, you know, we could add a button in here where it says like, rep name and you put Lisa, and then we can have kind of like a preset thing of, if the rep name is Lisa, then did I delete that? Where's that go? I think it was here. But like it could be pre-selected by this, or it could say, hey, thanks for talking with Lisa about, 123 Main Street. Like she had a great conversation with you. And maybe you can do like a summary, like maybe one highlight from the call. She really enjoyed how, you talked about your dog named Theo, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Like we can have that all automated. I like that. I like that though, where it's kind of more personalized. It's not just freaking numbers, because it does need to talk to them. And there's 4 different people we're talking to. We just don't know which one. So like an analytical would love this spreadsheet, but expressive might be like, what the hell is all this? So
Right. That's correct.
yeah. So I like that. Yeah. And then this is just beta, man. So we can definitely do kind of however we want to take it. But I do like that idea of kind of having a higher level personalized, not even higher level, but just a personalized approach to it. Cool.
Very cool.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
helps a lot. I appreciate it.
Cool. Of course. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, I would make a copy of it. Like, you know how to make copies of spreadsheets? Like from the master file?
Copy as, I guess, or save as, maybe. Is that?
Yeah, you just click on this file button right here. And you just do make a copy.
File, make a copy.
Yeah. So file, make a copy, and that'll
Yeah.
make a copy in your own, because this is going to be our master file. So just don't change this one. Like don't
Yeah.
put properties in here really, but just make a copy and you can name it to Regan Lisa SF LOI generator.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. And then we're gonna have one for multifamily. The single family SF means single family, so we're gonna have one for multifamily eventually when we start tapping into that. But we're just doing single family for now. So. Well, cool, guys. Well, I'm gonna try eating this lunch before this next meeting real quick in 5 minutes. So I will see you all later. Lewis, can we meet around 3 o'clock? Me and you and Manuel, or do you have something?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll talk to you then, man.
All right.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye, guys.